democratisation of technology, there is also the potential for overwhelming people with the amount of technology that's coming out. And actually that can be very negative. Whereas one of the things we have to adjust to is how we introduce these constant waves of new technologies to people, rather than assuming that they will automatically absorb the potential in the same way that perhaps you and I do, because we're really into technology.
We have a shoe, a Nike shoe. So this is a Nike shoe, and it comes with a little piece of technology that allows you to track the speed at which you run and the distance at which you run and so on. It gives you feedback on that.
If we have too much choice, you kind of can't use any of it because you don't know what to choose. So you kind of do need somebody to act as mediators to say, here's a good starting point, and if you want to do this kind of thing, probably use this technology first of all, because that's been proven to be the most useful alternative.
But if you have a modern mobile phone today, you have all of that in one device, and an awful lot more, and more that's being developed. So this projector actually, coming to the market shortly, in a few months' time, are mobile phones with a projector.
I guess sort of introducing e-learning is obviously expensive, both in terms of pounds that go in and also staff time. I guess what key managers might ask is, what's the return on investment?
Certainly in higher education, I think, is being used really to manage learning rather than actually to expand the boundaries of what is taught and what is learned. So institutions are using e-learning as a way of getting a tighter control over how learning is costed and how academics and teachers and other people involved are managed. And I don't necessarily think that is in our interest.
Also, I don't think the cost of staff time is managed. It's often an assumption that you can save time through e-learning, yet there's very little provision in the early use of e-learning where actually you spend more time.
We're going to China next month for the Rover Cup final, and all the teachers were all going to have to go and find the details. They were all going to have to go and find the medical details. They were all going to have to find this. No, we put Wiki together, so one person found the medical, somebody else found flight details, where the cheapest prices were and everything. So we're sharing the work.
We used the PB Wiki, and one of the group, not the group I just talked about, the one before, put a comment on their blog saying, we really struggle because PB Wiki won't let us do what we want to do. One of the guys who created PB Wiki, one of the developers, came in and said, I'm really glad you flagged that up. It's going to be in the next release, so don't worry, but keep with it. And again, it was that, sounds like whispering something, the person you're whispering about has heard you on the other side of the planet. And they found that, and I still find that fascinating. I've been doing this for years, I still find that fascinating. This opportunity to engage with other people wherever they are.
Community at Brighton is our website, community.brighton.ac.uk. It's a public website, anybody can go there, however, you can only log in and get to various other parts of it if you've got a University of Brighton username and password, or you're affiliated in some way and you have some need for a university username and password. So unlike, say, Facebook or any of the external things where anybody can do anything, it's completely public, this has got lots of layers of security. Things can be as public or as private as you want.
I was on Facebook once for 1 minute, but I got so freaked out when suddenly I pressed all the wrong buttons, and I think I said yes, and I invited all these people I didn't really know who were on my contact list to join my site. I thought, oh my god, quickly deleted the whole thing and got it out of there quick.
I had a feedback session with my students to find out whether if they enjoyed using the wiki or not, because I kind of imposed it on them to try and test out the water really, to see if they liked it. And some of them really took it on board and ran with it. A lot of collaboration throughout the week, in their own time, I found this, and linking to other sites. And others said, didn't like it at all, I'd rather have a face-to-face meeting with my group.
People do react in very different ways, and quite strongly, I think, to new technologies as well.
I think Facebook is problematic because it's very personal if you have a profile. Sometimes people do use it for family and friends only sometimes, and to kind of ask people to join a page, in a sense you're kind of linking to their personal profiles as well, and some people want to keep these things separate.
And the open courseware movement, you've actually got all this material that anyone can use across the world.
I
think universities are very willing to share the things they do with other people. I think they're very often reluctant to take other people's things and use them. It's definitely a not invented here syndrome.
So many colleagues I know have come to today's event and come to other events like this because they want ideas which will inform their practice, and they're interested in promoting the learning opportunities of their students.
Jonathan wrote a very, very interesting article. He said, evaluating, I think, the constructivist approach to learning. And in there, he actually talked about, that you can't expect a novice who comes into a learning situation, in one situation, to be an expert in the subject itself or to develop the skills at an expert level. So he actually said, that the issue of control goes from the learner in some situation being about 80% dependent on somebody who's facilitating it. And as the course progresses, the enlightened facilitator would then look at activities which then put the control back upon the student.